Hello, my name is Mobin Malik and I'll be presenting my application for Fellow of Higher Education Academy. In this presentation, I'll briefly highlight the key aspects that made me applicable for this position by considering two case studies for my education and experience. The two case studies will cover different areas of UKPSF. The first is based on my role as a graduate teaching assistant for Spacecraft System module, and the second case study is to do with my role as a Social Responsibility Fellow. A little about myself. I studied bachelor's in mechatronics engineering from Malaysia, where I also did 3 months of internship at an electronics firm working within a diverse community. On completion of my studies, I started working as a maths and science teacher at a middle school where I taught for an academic year and then moved to pursue masters in aerospace engineering at the University of Manchester. I worked as a data entry coordinator for a year where I managed several teams. Currently, I'm a postgraduate researcher focusing on propulsion systems for nanosatellite. During my master's, I was involved with MACE, where I was assigned the role of a coordinator. At the present, besides my research, I officially have 3 roles: Social Responsibility Fellow, Graduate Teaching Assistant, also commonly known as GTA in the university, and Space Research Outreach Coordinator. For my first case study, I considered my role as a GTA for spacecraft systems. The module comprised of software demonstration and delivering tutorials to undergraduate students. Each lab session had a size of more than 100 students and had 2 courseworks related to their GMAT software. For the tutorials, a cohort of 20 students were allocated. On the right-hand side, a general process for the case study is shown that lists all the things that were performed before, during, and after the session. For my first case study, the what that I will focus on is adapting different teaching styles. Why did I consider it? Let's take an example. During my tutorial session, where visual was required to better explain the scenario, verbal explanation itself would be insufficient. For this reason, I made use of visualizers and projectors to explain the relevant information to incorporate the visual features. On the right-hand sides are the slides that I used during my tutorials. The bold letters are the questions which were presented, and on discussing the answers were revealed using the animation feature on PowerPoint. Moreover, questions that students could find within their textbooks were indicated, so more time could be spent on logical questions. From my past experience, I can relate that not all students learn in the same way. To consider the diverse learning community, I took the following consideration. I reduced the pace of my explanation, used simple language when students had difficulty communicating, repeated the concepts again when required. So what happened? Student participation improved as their thinking style matched the teaching style, and this was evaluated using the feedback which is covered in the next slide. Following up from the previous slide, the second what is getting critical feedback from others. The others here refer to students and GTAs. Why did I think of getting feedback? To understand whether I was capable of delivering the best of what was needed for a student to understand and comprehend, and also I wanted to avoid self-evaluation as I could be biased to myself. So what? A mix of written and verbal feedbacks from the students and GTAs as well gave me a clear realization of what my performance was, telling me where I currently stood on a scale of bad to good. By considering their feedback and viewpoints, I adapted and improved my teaching styles to offer the best assistance. I plan to get feedback on a regular basis to improve further in the future. I could say that reading positive feedback about myself was very pleasing. On the right-hand sides are a few of the comments provided by the students and the GTAs. For my second case study, I considered the first big engineering outreach activity where high school students, year 9 to 10, were invited to the university. My role was to inspire and encourage them to choose engineering for their career options. The right-hand side shows the process executed before, during, and after on the day. On the left-hand side, the activities are indicated along with the side activities. The what that I will speak from my second case study, it was to promote female volunteering participation. Why did I do that? As a social responsibility fellow, one of my roles was to increase awareness of the gender gap currently in STEM. So what? The visiting female students felt more comfortable and included when seeing the high number of female volunteers present at the event. Not only that, the female students made use of the good opportunity to ask the female volunteers questions regarding their career progression. In the end, the female students showed high interest in pursuing engineering in the near future. What is the next thing that I will cover? It was carefully thinking of activities for the event. Why was this so important? By only considering one activity for such a long event, from experience again, students would surely get bored. All activities were group-based. This allowed students of different characteristics to work within a group of same or different characteristics. By in fact turning the spaghetti bridge into a competition, each team member was randomly assigned a role. This granted students to work outside their comfort zone, and the team were recommended to engage in learning cycle by discussing amongst themselves and by including the volunteers to improve their design. The activities were age appropriate to avoid students losing their interest in engineering if they weren't able to achieve their objective. So what? Students got to work outside their comfort zone and experience different learning preferences. Activities such as spaghetti bread showed high appreciation from the feedback, as indicated on the right hand side, while it was also indicated that the activities were challenging yet achievable. Students were able to complete the bridge development by the end of the activity, which showed that the timing of the activities was properly designed, although there were some feedback which indicated that more time was required for completing the bridge activity. By considering that feedback from the six students, the two next following big engineering event, were designed in an appropriate manner as indicated in the mapping document. Positive reviews were also obtained from the coordinator and volunteers who thought the activities were reflecting the objectives appropriately. I plan to gamify the activities in the future to encourage participation. In summary, the reason why I chose these two case studies is that they highlight my designing, planning, and teaching capability for various sorts of ages and for different sizes. The thing which I picked up from my first semester was the undergraduate students are quite hesitant in asking for help. To overcome this and to do my job effectively, I approached the students who were facing issues, even when they did not require assistance, unless they asked me not to help, which never happened. Although when looking back, I believe I used permissive teaching styles for my GMAT, where I did the problem solving for the students and didn't let them have enough time to lead by themselves. I plan to adapt this democratic teaching style, encouraging independence while placing limit. From my two case studies, I perceive that there is room for improvement, and I aim to achieve this by attending more trainings and workshops. The training and workshop I plan to attend are the following, which are listed at the bottom right side, which are organized by the university. I choose these because I believe that this will help me to implement better in the upcoming academic year. In regards to Social Responsibility Fellow, I plan to approach previous Social Responsibility Fellows to get their views on improvement. Before I end, I would like to thank the panel for taking their time in reviewing my application, and lastly, I want to point out that my mapping documents provide all the additional information which covers all the UKPSF, making me applicable for FHEA. Thank you.